and welcome to the Nemesis Online Racing League Championship here for round number 13, I should say, at the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. Now I just need to get the link off my YouTube and post it out on Twitter. That is what I need to do. Well, I can't even see chat if anyone's in chat at the moment. Alright, there's the link sent out. Now let's get the stream up. There we go, there we go. Alright, now I do indeed have the chat open. And well, whilst we're waiting here for a couple of people to connect, let's go through the championship standings when I can just about get them up on Twitter. I believe that we have just had Hefford join. Not entirely sure though. Okay, where are we? Where are we? And here we go. After all, what was an incredible Hungarian Grand Prix last time out, where we ended up seeing Bolt come from last place. I believe we started 15th place, then to win the race after Ed had a penalty after the late safety car that came out. He now, of course, extends his lead in the championship, with Bolt now on 224 points, Ed on 206, then we have Addy a little bit away back on 163. Then we have Chaz on 113, Ragno on 103, Chiller Killer on 88, Val on 80, then a little bit of a gap between Murcielago, who's on 44, then we have Maverick on 39, we also have J Hobson UK on 39, then we had Hefford on 38, then we have Ayrton Spenner on 22, who was looking at who did get a good result last time out at Hungary. He got 5th place. He could have perhaps a little bit better, but it just was not to be. We also have Doug Yafferman on 22 points. Then we have Testameister on 15. Danny Bin on 9, along with Laz the Greek on 9. Then we have King No Skill on 4 points. Skull on 2. Lola Power on 2. And Shektafa on 1. And Addy is saying, looking forward to crashing. Well, that's. I don't want you to crash, mate. I don't want any crashing. Although it perhaps might be a little bit entertaining. Let's just put it that way. Is there any particular point in the track where you struggle? Because I know for me, I cannot do Puon to save my life. But I know that mainly Air Rouge is causing people a lot of problems. But typically, I don't have much. I typically don't have too much difficulty through Air Rouge with a normal setup on. Ed into each other. Well, no, we don't want any crashing into each other. Deadfast saying, looking forward to Air Rouge. Yeah, Air Rouge is going to be quite fascinating. And hello, Colin. I hope you go well in this race. Perhaps a little bit better than Hungary. As I don't think we have Chazza here tonight. That's unfortunate. Double left-hander second sector. Yeah, that's Puon. Puon's really difficult. If you touch the inside curb, you're gone. That's the only really corner that I struggle at, and on this track. Are you guys ready for some Murcielago? I think we all are. I think we all are, to be fair. Death will strike again. Oh god. Radio then. Radio. Well, I don't know when the bets were going to start. All the time. Well, we don't. Hopefully nobody crashes, but I'm sure that that probably is not going to be the case. I'm sure that we're going to be having a few crashings this evening, which will of course make me scream. Certainly at some point, especially if there's some chaos on the first couple of laps, like there certainly was in Hungary, and of course the first couple of laps at the German Grand Prix was very exciting, as well as Colin is absolutely spamming the ready up button, and so is now Maverick. Everyone wants to get started, but Val has not readied up yet. Pray for no safety car. Well, yeah, for your sake, you certainly don't want a safety car, especially after what happened out last time in Hungary. That was absolutely devastating for you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. Unfortunately, we've had another person disconnect, so I think we're going to now have to wait for them to reconnect back. As my mum's blowing her nose, I'm not sure if you could hear that or not. Unfortunately, that's annoying. Alright, so waiting for Hefford to join and then we start. So Colin, if you could stop spamming to ready up, that would be fantastic, because it is quite disturbing. Oh, now I've got half the fucking lobby doing it. Oh, I didn't say that. Half the lobby is now doing it. Here we have Schecter doing it. Who's the other culprits? Ed's doing it. Look at you lot. Now Callum's doing it. Oh, what have I started? Look, the driver's ready up counter can barely handle it. And then you're doing that, you're gonna crash the server. As well, we should already be about starting the race by now, but still here waiting. Break the lobby, boys. Well, go on then. So we're still waiting for the Williams driver of Hefford to join the lobby, and then we can get underway. I don't really have nothing to talk about at the moment. Of course, the tragic and sad news just coming out in the early hours of this morning, that Kobe Bryant has, of course, passed away in a helicopter crash. Very, very tragic news, and something that I certainly didn't expect to be seeing on my Twitter feed this morning. Very sad news indeed, and I know a couple of drivers are running some tribute helmets. I believe they're running a Lakers helmet in Kobe's honour. So we're still waiting for Hereford, about 10 minutes past of when we should have started. As well, we have to start sooner or later. I know that in the past I used to do this to everyone when I was asleep. Yeah, when I didn't wake up for the races and I was asleep. But yeah, this is a little bit difficult. Now I believe now that Hefford has joined the lobby, and we should be. That's King No Skill. King No Skill who's just joined. So it's going to be still waiting for Hefford. Oh, we're not. Was it readying up? I don't think that they know that it's Hefford who hasn't joined. There's King No Skill actually, but it looks like we're going to get underway anyway. Let's see what's been said in the chat. I don't think anyone He said that it would be starting at this time no matter what. Fair enough then. Fair enough. Because we're now finally getting underway. As I've had to fill 10 minutes of time. Thankfully I had some of you in here to help me fill the time. So we now load in to the lobby. As Casper wishes everyone good luck, and indeed good luck to everyone. Of course, it's going to be a very intriguing one-shot qualifying session. There are a couple of places where you can perhaps cut some corners. You can cut the inside of turn 1 just slightly, and then of course if you try to go a straight line through a rouge, of course you can cut the top of a rouge, and also then at Le Com you can cut the chicane, but it'll be certainly very interesting indeed to see how this one-shot qualifying goes. And of course that's the reason why Bolt started in last place in the previous Grand Prix, was because he got disqualified from the qualifying session for corner cutting or track extending, one or the other. As now they choose what setups they want to run out of the standard setups. Of course, we have maximum downforce, increased downforce, balanced, increased top line speed, and then maximum top speed, I think it is. Yeah, that should not take too long. Although looks like Val and Addy are taking about 2 years to do it. But now here we are. We're underway in qualifying as they now head down into turn 1. We're on board here with Dougie Afferman as he turns his Toro Rosso in a little bit nervously there into turn 1, as now they come down towards Air Rouge for the first time. Oh, Dougie Afferman running very wide there through Air Rouge, and then they go through the top of Radion. And now we'll move our way up the grid a little bit. We'll go on board with our championship leader here into Le Com. As he goes a little bit deep into Le Com, that's going to compromise his run now, but he's manages to get the car very wide through that right-hander. That's going to cost Bolt lots and lots of time, but it looks like he's actually gone up in the order here, as Hethford has managed to join before the race starts, so that is some good news. Now through the corner with No Name. Bolt really struggling with some understeer here. He must be running a very low downforce setup, but now as they come through, Pouon manages to make sure he doesn't touch the outside curb, but runs very wide as Bolt here in the Renault. But now we're going to go a little bit forward to his championship rival Ed, who looks to be quite a ways away, who is running an Antoine Hubert tribute helmet, which is very nice to see. Is now he comes through Stabilo, gets the car all nice and straightened up and down for this long run towards Blanchimont, and it looks like he's in a very good position here to clinch pole position. Is Ed now through Blanchimont, of course, flat out in modern day F1 cars, but now down towards the bus stop chicane. Can Ed manage to get the car stopped? He does go a little bit deep, but I'm sure they'll be able to tuck it in, get the car straightened up, and launch out of the bus stop chicane and secure pole position by a whopping second over his championship rival. What an absolute mega lap that is by Ed, and he is on pole position by a whole entire second over his championship rival Bolt, who will start second, and then Addy will start in third, with Maverick in fourth, Ducky Afferman in fifth, King No Skill in sixth, Ayrton Spenner seventh, Chiller Killer in eighth, Skull in ninth, Mochilago in 10th, and Val has been disqualified from the session, as I assume he's cut a corner somewhere, and he's not had the best of time. But wow, by literally 9/10 and 99 hundredths, Ed takes pole position here, and a very impressive pole position here at Spa-Francorchamps in the one-shot qualifying. But Bolt is in a much better position than what he was last time out, so I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. But now we'll run down from 9th, where we were just about to go. So Skull in 9th, Murcielago in 10th, Ragno in 11th, Schachterfer in 12th, Danny Abinlar in 13th, and Val in 14th. As Skull has said that he spun, and that's why he's so far off. As Ed's saying, by a second, are you sure? Well, 9 tenths and 99 hundredths. There you go. You happy now? You happy now, Ed? As if you aren't already happy with that stunning lap that you've just put in. Oh, and it's very, very overcast here as we load into, well, just the beginning of the formation lap. We might be having some rain like we did out in Hockenheim, which would spice things up even more. And of course we will have Hereford on the grid as well. I'm not sure exactly sure where he will start on the grid, as he did join halfway through qualifying. But wow, dominant display by Ed, and can he keep that up in the race? It seems as if Bolt does have a little bit better pace in the races than what he does in qualifying. But let's see what Bolt can do in this race to overcome, well, Ed's stunning qualifying pace. Of course, qualifying doesn't mean much at the end of the day, because you have to then perform over the 22 laps to win the Grand Prix. But very, very overcast here in Spa. It must be said, and it looks like King No Skill actually just disconnected then. But I think he's back. Or is he not? I don't know what on earth is going on with King No Skill there. I did see that he joined back just at the start, or just before the start of the formation lap. So hopefully the Racing Point driver can take part in this race. As we can see, a number of drivers running Ayrton Hubert tribute helmets. We have Ayrton Spenner, we have Chiller Killer there, and we have I believe we do have some other drivers as well. The Schechtefer already going straight on at Lecombe. And these tyres seem to be super, super cold, it must be said. Ed is running an Ayrton Hubert tribute helmet. So is Addy. Another driver's running Ayrton Hubert tribute helmets, which is always nice to see. Of course, at the circuit where he sadly did succumb to his injuries after his crash in the F2 race last year. So I think Skull is a little bit confused. Why is he confused? As Ragno and himself are on the grid already, as we would have seen when I was cycling through the cameras of all the drivers a little bit earlier. As now the leaders are coming down towards, well, out of the bus stop chicane indeed, as now they are getting ready to line up on the grid for the start of the race. I'm sure they've done a good job warming up their tyres in, well, these very, very overcast conditions. I'll be surprised if there isn't any rain throughout this race, as of course in real life you often see there is rain on race day in Spa, as the rain just drifts in through the forest and onto the circuit. And now here we go, we have the whole entire grid lined up ready for the start of this 22 lap Belgium Grand Prix, and we have 5, and lights out and away we go, and it looks like it's a very solid start for our leader at the moment, and that is Ed as he squeezes out Bolt. Bolt's had a little bit of a shocking start, but Addy's throwing it up the inside there, and he's gone wide, he's off circuit. Now Bolt is up the inside of Ed, as now Addy's going to come back on the track. They're nearly 3 wide as they come around towards Eau Rouge, and Bolt has somehow emerged into the lead, and now he has Ed the Mercedes all over the back of him. But also now Ed has the Haas driver of Addy, who absolutely launched one up the inside of turn 1, as now the all slipstream down towards Lecombe. Who's going to go where? They're side by side, Bolt and Ed. Oh, it looks like Ed's been forced Bolt off the track there. They go, they're wheel banging, but it looks like Ed's just about going to manage to keep the lead at the moment. As the yellow flags behind, we have a McLaren spinning into the wall there. Further back, is Ed going to manage to hold it on? Yes, he is. Oh, and now Addy's gone, trying to overtake through the corner with no name, and he's not come out best on that. He's going to stay in 3rd place, and what a chaotic start to this race as we have Ayrton Spencer up into 4th place. We have Maverick in 5th. We have Chiller Killer back in 6th. Ragnar up in 5th. He's made a good start. I do believe as I better get all of this sorted out here. And yes, a good start by Ayrton Spencer. He's moved up 3 places, and Ragnar's also had a cracking start, along with Hereford, who's had a very good start, as well as we did see some a spinning McLaren in the back. I'm assuming that's going to be the McLaren of Danny Bin Lahar as we're on board with Addy here as we're about to head through Blanchimont for the first time. The track conditions do not look the greatest, it must be said, but we'll go a little bit further back as now Maverick is trying to make a move here on Ayrton Spencer into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go right around the outside? What a move that is by the Mercedes driver, and he moves up into 4th place, and now Ayrton Spencer is under pressure from Chiller Killer, but Chiller Killer cannot quite sustain that pressure as they head down towards turn 1. And now, of course, for the first 2 laps of the race, there is no DRS, and that might protect Ed here, but he is very, very close to his Bolt here as they come through Radion now. Bolt in the slipstream of the Mercedes driver. The Mercedes driver of Ed is defending the inside line. Or is he going to give up the inside line? Up he is. Bolt's going to try and go up the inside, but Ed closes it off, and Bolt is not able to get into the lead of this race. But with DRS available the next lap, as Ed's had a massive lock up there, I'm sure that Ed is going to have to be defending a little bit harder than what he was already on lap 2 out of 22 here in the Belgium Grand Prix, as Ayrton Spencer is defending already into Pouon. Runs a little bit wide through Pouon. Does he have some front wing damage? He might do actually, but now Chili Killer trying to go around the outside here. Can he potentially make the move stick? He's got to stick his nose in. They give good racing room. He loses the rear end, and there we go. Chiller Killer up into 5th place, and now Ragnar's also trying to capitalise on this as well as they head through Stabilo right now. Oh, landed Ragnar! He's lost it. He's completely lost it. And it's Dougie out. Is he collected Dougie out from that? I don't think he has. Ragnar got all out of shape, and he's nearly collected more cars coming back onto the circuit. It looked like a pretty dangerous re-entry onto the track there by Ragnar, but let's see what will happen with that, because there are being stricter rules to be implemented on rejoining the track dangerously. But now on lap 3, of course, we will now see that DRS has been activated, or has been enabled I should say, and now Ed is going to have to really defend his position here. Bowler's a little bit further back than what he was on the last lap, and he does run a little bit wide there through Radion than what he'd like to optimally. But now here comes the DRS. It doesn't look like he's gaining too much at the moment. He is gaining, but he's just not close enough to make any sort of move at the moment is Bolt. As now we're going to go a little bit further back. Ayrton Spencer not able to re-overtake Chiller Killer after he overtook him, I think it was just before Stabilo, with a beautiful move around the outside of the Renault driver. And Dougie Afferman somehow escaped after Ragnar's spun, and I don't know how he hadn't gone in the wall. He is in 12th place as Ragnar, as Chiller Killer doesn't look like he's been put on the grid, and that's very unfortunate for Chiller Killer. Oh, sorry, for King No Skill, not Chiller Killer, for King No Skill. I think he qualified in about 6th place, so it would have been a good race potentially for King No Skill, but sadly he's lagged out of the lobby as we're on board here with Val, who's behind the Haas driver of Schachterfer, as they come through. Now, what is the final sector? And oh, we've had Hereford retire. What's happened there? We're about to see he's retired. Oh, I think he's done exactly what Ragnar done. He's gone onto the rumble strip, and he's gone spinning across the track. Let's see if we can pick it up from... Yes, there we go. He's crashed into the wall, and he's gone careering across the track. That's an absolute disaster for Hereford there, as we were waiting for about 10 minutes for him, and now after 4 laps his race has ended very, very early, as we've just had Schechterfer get a 5-second penalty for track extending. As King No Skill saying, I lagged out already in qualifying, managed to get P6 at the end. Oh, like, well there you go, you weren't even You didn't even take part in the lap and you've still got P6. As now we have the Renault driver of Ayrton Senna here in the slipstream of Chiller Killer. Is he going to launch it up the inside into the com? No, he thinks better of it. Not going to risk his front wing. 4 laps into this race. Still very early stages in this race, and he could have better opportunities coming up. Oh, saying that, he's gone a little bit deep there. He's locked up, and now he's put himself quite a ways behind Chiller Killer, and he's cut the corner a little bit there. Don't know if he got a warning or not, of course, but a little mistake there by Ayrton Senna, costing him some time. And I think he has some front wing damage, if I'm perfectly honest. He seems to be struggling through Pill 1 quite substantially, as it has been a really good start by Chiller Killer. Oh, Bolt! What's happened to Bolt? Bolt's have gone spinning around, and this is a big moment in the championship here. Has he got any front wing damage? I'm not entirely sure, but this might signal an early pit stop for Bolt, as his tyres could potentially be absolutely ruined. Oh my goodness gracious me! Bolt's made a mistake. I'm not exactly how he's made that mistake, and now Val is out of the race. He's done exactly what Hereford's done, and what Ragno nearly did. Absolute chaos here as they come out of Stabilo so far in this race. What on earth is going on? Bolt has continued on. He's decided that he doesn't need to pit, but now Ed, he's in a very good position in this race. He has a 3.5 second lead over Addy in the Haas. And if he can just continue to build that gap and make sure he doesn't get any penalties, this could be a massive moment in the championship to claw some points back on Bolt. As Dougie F-Man lifting there through Eau Rouge, playing it quite safe. But now Bolt has to regain his focus and focus on catching his Renault teammate in front of him, Ayrton Senna, who I'm sure is going to be quite friendly to him. Of course, they are teammates, and I'd assume that Ayrton Senna would get out of the way for his teammate. But of course, that remains to be seen, as Skull has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. But wow, early drama on in this race. Of course, lap 1 was quite interesting, with Addy throwing it up the inside of Ed, and now with Bolt making that mistake. Oh, and he touches the inside curb. That pull on and on. My heart was in his mouth. My heart was in my mouth for a moment, because you do not want to be touching any part of the inside curb at pull on, as you can spin oh so easily. But coming out of here, out of Stabilo, yeah, the drivers are struggling oh so much with it. You've seen Bolt lift off there. They're not going into the second Stabilo wide enough, and it's causing the drivers quite a lot of difficulty. It's already claimed 3 victims or so, and there we go. Ayrton Senna moving out of the way for his teammate just before the bus stop chicane, and now Bolt will turn his focus onto... Oh, what on earth has happened there? Bolt's just stopped on the exit of the bus stop chicane, and it nearly caused his teammate to go into the back of him. I think Bolt's having some major issues here with his wheel or something. He's not being able to stop his car going into the corners. We've seen it now 2 corners in a row, and now his teammate has to be careful he doesn't crash into the back of him here as they come through Eau Rouge. What is going on here with the Renault driver, with the championship leader? He seems to be having some difficulties at the moment. We're not sure what they quite are, as now he comes into Le Combe. The braking seems to be fine there, but he does seem to be going very easy through the corners. It might just be that he has more fuel on board than what I can remember from time trial. Of course he does, and what I do have on in time trial. But Bolt's struggling here at the moment. This is a big story. He's now 3.5 seconds behind Chiller Killer, and Chiller Killer is gaining on Maverick, I think, lap by lap, just a little bit. And Ed has also has extended that gap by about 3/10 to Addy. But yeah, Bolt's struggling here. This is not the Bolt that we come and expect of in this championship. He's making quite a lot of mistakes. He's going wide through many corners. He's braking a little bit too late. And there you go, that corner is really causing drivers a lot of difficulty with the heavier fuel load. And now he's nearly 4 seconds behind Chiller Killer, and this is not what Bolt wants. He'll be wanting to be wanting to gain time on Chili Killer, because if he finishes in 5th place and Ed finishes first, that is what, 15 points at least gone in his championship lead at the moment, and that would make the championship very close. I think it would be about 8 or 9 points at that rate. So Bolt's really got to get his head down here, and he really needs to focus up here, does Bolt. He needs to start focusing on catching Chili Killer, who is now within a second of Maverick, and he does indeed have DRS, does the Alfa Romeo drivers. Now we'll go on for this weird little T-cam, side T-cam position here, which is mainly blocked by the halo, of course. As oh, I just missed that we had Ayrton Spinner come to the pits on the previous lap, on the end of that last lap, I should say. So we're going to watch Chili Killer here, just for the time being. Let's see if he can close back in on Maverick, as we've had some overtaking happening, as Danny Bin Lahar has just got past Schechter into Lecombe. Of course, did go spinning around at the start of this race, I do believe. Well, he is the only McLaren driver, and there was a McLaren spinning, so of course it was him. But here we go now, Chili Killer out of the Stabilo, now into the second Stabilo, which is just causing everyone so many difficulties. But not for this driver, as he's not using any ERS at all down the back straight down towards Blanchimont, which is quite odd if I must say so myself. And God, that is an absolutely awful sound. I think he could do with upshifting there. I know it drops the revs lower, but now we have 3rd place Maverick coming into the pits to make his first pit stop of the race, and you'd assume he's only pit stop the race, as you'd expect him to now go on to the... He's going on to the medium compound tyres. Let's see if that's actually accurate. No, he's going on to the medium compound tyres, as did Ayrton Spinner, so it must be that you go on the medium compound tyres. I haven't done any sort of racing around this track in, say, career mode or anything, so I don't know exactly what the best strategy is or anything. I have barely played this game this year, in fact, or last year for that fact. As Dougie Afferman has also made his first pit stop. Who was that I just went on board with? It was very, very wide through Eau Rouge. It might have been Ragnar. Might have been, as Maverick has come out ahead of Danny Bin Lahar quite comfortably. He's got some nice fresh air here, and who knows, if he puts in a good lap here, he could get ahead of Addy, but he seems to be taking a little bit easy, trying to get those tyres up to temperature. Oh, as now Addy's actually started to close in on Ed here. And the gap is now 2.5 seconds, and we've seen it up towards about 4 seconds only a matter of moments ago. So Ed must have made a small mistake there, which has cost him 1.5 seconds, which I suppose is no small mistake at the end of the day, as now we have Ayrton Spinner getting past Schechter there just before Pillon, as we've seen him actually weaving all over the place there, so he must have been quite frustrated with the Haas drivers. But now we have the race leader of Ed coming into the pits, and Addy does also follow suit, along with Chili Killer, who's gone very wide in the pit lane there, and that's allowed Bolt to actually gain some time, as they've all managed to not speed into the pit lane, as Ed comes out, of course, in the pit lane first, and it doesn't look like anyone's managed to hold each other up. And let's see if Addy has actually gained some time. Oh, Addy unfortunately comes out behind Ragnar, but he might be just about close enough to get a good enough slipstream to get past Ragnar here, but he does seem to be struggling a little bit on the tyres. But yes, indeed, he does have some DRS, and perhaps if he can get a good enough run here, he can make a move up the inside of Ragnar. Yes, it looks like he's absolutely flying past Ragnar, using that overtake mode in the ERS, and he moves back up into second place in this race with some very nice DRS there from Ragnar, and the gap does stay about 2.5 seconds. So if Addy can start to put in a couple of good laps, you just start to close the gap within 2 seconds. If Ed makes a mistake, he will be there ready to pounce, and We've seen that the circuit is very difficult to drive around today. We've seen drivers making a number of mistakes, with just usual, like, little mistakes that you really shouldn't be making, just such as braking late, or going very deep into the corner. You know, we've seen drivers making lots of mistakes, so if Addy can just keep applying that pressure, make sure that Ed can't breathe, it could be a very interesting final couple of laps. Of course, we're on lap 9 and 22, so quite a ways to go. We're not even at half race distance yet, but if Addy can manage to just keep that pressure on, who knows what could happen in this race. As now we have the Mercedes of Maverick closing up on Murcielago here into the bus stop chicane. Is he going to go for a move? Oh, he brakes much later than the Red Bull driver, who was on older tyres, and that has cost him a little bit of time, as now he loses the rear end all over the place. And now we're going to have Chillakilla who's going to try and make a move, perhaps into turn 1, but no, it looks like the Mercedes driver managed to get a good enough exit out of the bus stop chicane in the end to get back past. But out of turn 1, jeez, that Alfa Romeo's got some lightning traction, as he's now all over the back, as now they come up towards Air Rouge, and now up the top of Radion. It looks like the Alfa Romeo is absolutely flying behind the Mercedes driver, but of course the Mercedes driver does have DRS on the Red Bull in front as he pulls out to the left hand side. And whereabouts is Chillakilla going to go? He's pushing Maverick along the straight there. He's managed to get past Murcielago, but not quite past Maverick, who's made a little bit of a mistake there into Lecom. Chillakilla's going to try and capitalise, but I don't think he'll be able to quite get past Maverick, and indeed he isn't. Chillakilla and Maverick both move up past Murcielago, who has not pitted yet. And also have to mention that Ragnar did pit on the previous lap, and now he's just made his way past. Oh, as Maverick's touched the inside and pull on the curb. You can't be doing that. As now Bolt is... Oh, Bolt spun and pull on! The championship leader is in the wall! What on earth is going on there? He spun! He spun at Pouon, and this is absolutely massive in the championship now. He's now behind his teammate in 7th place. His rear end's all over the place. His tyres are absolutely on fire. And now he's going to be overtaken by Ragnar, is he? No, he's absolutely parking the bus to make sure he can't get overtaken. But you can see quite clearly that his rear end is struggling after that spin there at Pouon, and now his championship rival Ed has set the fastest lap at the moment, and provisionally I think that Ed would now take the championship lead. But now we have Ragnar here all over the back of the Renault driver. Is he going to go up the inside the bus stop chicane? No, he doesn't manage to outbrake the Renault driver, but oh my goodness, it's not been a good day at the office for Bolt whatsoever. And now he's found himself behind his teammate once again. And, well, provisionally he is going to be in 6th place because Murcielago is yet to pit. But now he's quite a ways away from getting, say, 4th or 3rd place here. As now Ragnar is still trying to capitalise here. And he's going to have DRS on Bolt, where Bolt will not... Is he going to try and use any ERS to get past the Renault driver? No, he is not. I thought Ragnar could have perhaps launched an attack at Bolt, but he's not decided to in the end. And now Bolt has to once again regain his composure and go after his teammate in Ayrton Senna, who you would assume would let him through again, but not a good day for Bolt whatsoever. Oh, and his teammate's got in the wall. Ayrton Senna's in the wall. He's lost the car there on the exit curb, and now Ragnar's also gotten past Ayrton Senna, as now they're actually side by side into Pouon. Oh, and Callum J. Spencer, of course, as well, he's formerly known as Ayrton Senna on the inside curb, but Pouon has somehow managed to save it there. That is an absolutely incredible save by Ayrton Senna there. I don't know how on earth he saved the car there. Perhaps his Renault teammate could have done some of that earlier and stopped himself from crashing at Pouon like that, because that was quite spectacular. But now once again Ragnar is behind the Renault driver as they come through Blanchimont now and down towards the bus stop chicane. It looks like he's saving quite a bit of ERS at the moment, is Ragnar. Perhaps he might launch an attack this time around, as he actually does have a bit more ERS than Bolt. And here we go, he just puts it up into the second ERS mode, of course using DRS as well, but Ragno, I think if he gets a little bit feisty here, he could indeed make a move here on Bolt. So we'll just keep our eyes on this at the moment, as there isn't really too much else going on so far, as we're now just past halfway in the race. But no, it doesn't look like Ragno wants to launch an attack here on Bolt. It just looks like he wants to use his DRS, which would perhaps bring him towards Murcielago and perhaps towards the rest of the pack. So, an interesting tactic here by Ragno. And we'll see how this pays out for him. Oh, what's happened to Ed? Ed's lost an opponent as well! Oh my goodness me, what's going on? What is going on? Ed has lost it at P1 as well, just like his championship rival Bolt. And now he's 5 seconds behind Addy, just perhaps pushing too hard. It does look like he has his entire front wing intact. But Ed also now spinning at P1. What else is going to happen in this race? We've still got another 10 laps to go. What else is going to happen? Whew. But the good thing for Ed is that he has been a little bit quicker than Addy so far this race, and if he starts to close in on Addy and close that gap, perhaps he could force Addy into a mistake. But we haven't seen any mistakes really from Addy so far this race, apart from perhaps the ambitious move that he tried to make at turn 1. But oh my, this has been an absolutely dramatic race, and Ed was in such a good position to be gaining some points on Bolt. Of course he's still going to be gaining some points on Bolt at where he is at the moment, but not the amount that it could be. If of course he can get himself back up into first place, he will be gaining another 7 on what he already would be gaining at the moment. Or as Bolt's just got 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and that is not what you want. But Ed locking up quite a lot here at the moment. There's just been some interesting things sent to me in Discord, as Ed through P1 is fine this time around, but he's and he's pushing too hard. He's in the gravel trap once again. Ed just pushing the car too hard beyond the limits that it can go to, and now he's in the gravel once again, and now he has to turn his attention back, as now Chillakiller is behind him in the Alfa Romeo. As Ed, and here he goes into the wall. Oh my goodness gracious me. But now he has to really focus on this attack that's going to come from him by Chillakiller. Chillakiller has now come through Blanchimon. He's gaining on the Mercedes driver in now into the bus stop chicane. He's going to have to go the long way around. Ed doesn't give him much room on the outside line there, but can Chillakiller stick his nose up? No, he can't quite manage to get that done, but now he is going to have some nice DRS, which is going to assist him in his attempt to get past Ed here at the moment. But Ed just pushing too hard. Perhaps just should have settled for P2 at this rate. But now, of course, Murcielago has made his pit stop, and that does promote Bolt up into 5th place. But now, here we go. Here comes Chillakiller in the Alfa Romeo. He's now opened up the DRS and he's absolutely flying towards the Mercedes driver. The Mercedes driver can just stand there and watch as the Alfa Romeo goes right round and down the inside at Le Com, and now Chillakiller is all of a sudden up into 2nd place in this race, up past Ed, who's had an absolute nightmarish couple of laps where he spun at P1. He spun also in the middle sector through the left-hander, and now he has to focus. He has to regain his composure, just like his fellow championship rival has had to multiple times throughout this race. He has to get himself back up past the Alfa Romeo Chillakiller. That is for sure. I think the win might be gone for the Mercedes driver at this rate, but he can certainly get himself 2nd place, as 2nd place driver Chillakiller is right in front of him. And now, with much cleaner tyres, he is able to take the 2nd Stabilo much better. And now Ed he's in a better position here. Chilikill, I think he must not have any ERSs at all, as Ed is getting absolutely monumentally on him. He's now going to try and go around the outside of the bus stop chicane. Can he get the move done? It looks like he's going to be able to secure that move and move back up into second place, and indeed he is. But now, of course, Chilikill is going to have all the DRS down towards Lecombe. And here we go, he wasn't using any ERS at all, and now you'd expect to see him to turn that ERS up. And there we go, now he's turned up into the third highest mode, but he's already lost quite a bit of time on the exit of turn 1 there. Quite odd decision by the Alfa Romeo driver here, but now with the DRS he is gaining once again. Come on, lad, chuck it up into the overtake. No, he's not going to be able to get close enough, as he... It was an odd decision not to be turning it up immediately as he was on the exit of turn 1. He waited just a little bit, and that might cost him his chance of getting back past the head of Ed here, unless Ed makes any more mistakes. And speaking of mistakes, he goes on the inside the curb grass there. Oh, a Chilikill nearly spins out like Ayrton Spener did earlier in this race, where he got on that exit curb and spun across the track, hit the outside wall, but he's managed to keep it on track, and now he is a second behind Chilikill of the Mercedes driver, with Maverick. And he's just watching back, chilling here, 2.5 seconds behind, as he is just keeping a very keen and watchful eye on this battle here. Seems to be managing his tyres quite well, as he's always has had pretty good tyre wear management. As when I was racing, I was very often in a party with him whilst racing. He's a good friend of mine, is Maverick, and I hope he has a good race here. And as he has just closed up to Chilikill just a little bit on this lap, after Chilikill, of course, made that slight mistake. But now Ed pulling away from Chilikill here, and Ed just cannot afford to make another mistake in this race. As we had Skull just coming out of the pit lane there, who's in last place in this race, 59 seconds behind Schechter. I think he's not had the greatest of times, as we've got Ayrton Spener coming into the pit lane. And what tyres is he going to put on? You expect him to put on some soft tyres, and he's making a front wing change, as it looks like he's lost his front wing somewhere about the track. So we're on board here with Dougie Afferman, who's now moved up into 9th place as a result of Ayrton Spener pitting. And let's see what Ayrton Spener can do here. You probably get past Murcielago, but I don't think you'll be able to get up past Murcielago, who is in, of course, 7th place, who seems to be struggling quite a bit there, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. But on board now with Ragno, who was 3.5 seconds behind Bolt. And we were speaking how Maverick was closing in on Chilikill now. The gap is 1.5 seconds here, and it's potentially Chilikill is suffering from a little bit of tyre wear. Even though Maverick has a lap hold of tyres, Chilikill was of course engaged in quite a bit of a battle there with Ed. Perhaps could have burnt out his tyres, could have overheated his tyres just a little bit, as he runs a little bit deep there into the bus stop chicane, a little bit more than what he would have wanted to. As Dougie Afferman, Puwan has claimed another victim, as he's spun at Puwan and now has lost positions to Danny Binlahose on the hard compound tyres. Didn't expect to see that tyre compound today. And Ayrton Spener, of course, has also gotten past him up into 8th place. But Ragnar, as I was saying, has dropped a little bit back behind Bolt, who's now 7.5 seconds behind Maverick, who has also been gaining on Chilikill in front of him. I think this is going to be the battle to watch in the remaining laps available, as Maverick seems to be gaining and just seems to have a little bit more confidence in the car, not making perhaps as many mistakes as Chilikill at the moment, who might be pushing just a little bit too hard. We've seen him nearly crash out at that previous corner that we just went through last time around, or a couple laps ago I should say. course, Maverick just about loses the car on the curb there. That's cost him a little bit of time now to Chillakilla. Of course, the curbs are very difficult to deal with around this circuit, as we've seen so many drivers being caused so many difficulties so far, and perhaps they've been doing too much time trial, perhaps not enough actually race practice. They perhaps weren't ready for how the car behaves under high fuel. As it is just becoming a little bit more overcast. We're on lap 18 out of 22, and now Ed has a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as he's closed that gap to 10 seconds now between himself and Addy, but it's now basically 13, and I don't think I've seen Addy pick up a penalty so far this race, so let's see how that one plays out. As now we have Danny Binlahan and Dougie Afferman right up each other's rear as they come now into the bus stop chicane. Dougie's going to send it up the inside, and it looks like he's got that move done here on Danny Binlahan. Danny Binlahan might be regretting going on those hard compounder tyres, as they look utterly awful, as Ed and Spence says, oh my goodness gracious me, I thought Dougie Afferman had just not braked, but he seems to be having a couple of internet issues at the moment. But Ed and Spence, of course, just set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, and oh, here we go, we have Maverick within a second of Chillakilla here. It was about 2 seconds, so I don't know if Maverick's just had an absolute storming lap or Chillakilla has made a little bit of a mistake. I would think the latter of the two, as now I come down towards Blanchimont for the 18th time so far in this race. It's going to be the Mercedes driver who's looking to close the gap here into the bus stop chicane, and he does brake a little bit later than the Alfa Romeo driver in front of him, and now going to get the car all squared up and lined up out to the bus stop chicane. As now they move on to lap 19 of 22 in this Belgium Grand Prix. Now to turn 1, who can get the better exit out of the two? Looks like Maverick has got a pretty good exit, and he's put it all the way up into the highest ERS mode possible. Let's see if he can get a move done here on Chillakilla, as he now comes through the top of Radion, as now he's about to open up that DRS, and he's gaining on the Alfa Romeo, that is for sure, but I don't think he's gaining enough. He's gaining an absolute ton, but he's just a little bit too far behind through the exit of turn 1, and now he's going to have to probably wait a whole another entire lap as he runs a little bit wide there through the right hander. But if he can just close that gap a little bit to Chillakilla before turn 1, he can perhaps get past the Alfa Romeo driver, who is now 4.5 seconds behind Ed. Of course, Ed does have a 3-second time penalty. So he is safe from any sort of penalty displacement. I don't know the right word that I was looking for in this race to potentially put him down to 3rd place, but Maverick's lost quite a bit of time here through the final sector. Through the middle sector to Chillakilla, and he's now outside of that 1 second DRS window on the Alfa Romeo. And if we can perhaps have a good final corner here, he can just about sneak the DRS for the pit straight here, but it doesn't look like he's been able to manage it. No, it doesn't. It looks like he's just about not going to get DRS either for the next straight. Indeed, he's not going to get it. So Maverick's going to be absolutely kicking himself there after that poor lapse. Cost him quite a bit there, although he is gaining quite substantially on Chillakilla. I don't think Chillakilla has quite put up his ERS, and no, Maverick does indeed get the DRS, because of course it's not through the corner, it's just about after the corner, and Chillakilla, I did notice, had his ERS all the way down to 0, but Maverick now got the DRS again. If Maverick can just have a bit of a cleaner middle sector here, he can now keep putting the pressure on Chiller Killer here in the final number of laps. So on lap 22, sorry, on lap 20 of 22 now. Chiller Killer struggling with the rear end a little bit through the left-hander there. As now they come through Puwon. Both very wise in avoiding the inside curb, which is oh so deadly around Puwon. And around this circuit in general, the curbs are quite difficult to deal with, and Maverick's had a much cleaner middle sector here, and just as I said he was having a much cleaner sector, he's now gone deep into Stabilo, and now he's going to lose quite a bit of time down towards the bus stop chicane, and that might just cost him. No, he's got his ERS all the way up, and he'll just be about okay to be within that 1 second window to get the DRS, as now he's put it down back into 1 to save it. But this is certainly the closest that we've seen Maverick be, as now they head down towards turn 1 on now what is the penultimate lap of the Belgium Grand Prix. And now Maverick, he hasn't quite turned up his ERS just yet, as he's realised that Chiller Killer doesn't quite turn it up early enough, or perhaps he's saving all of his ERS for a last lap assault here on the Alfa Romeo driver. Now he puts it all up, but realises that he's not going to be able to get close enough to make an overtake, as Ragnar's just pitted, and that's promoted Murcielago up into 6th place in this race, and also Ayrton Spencer up into 7th place, as Ragnar's just looking to, one would assume, to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix to take home an extra point for the championship. As Maverick, really crucial here that he doesn't make a mistake through this middle and final sector, because I think, well, look at that, he's saving all of his ERS. It looks like he's going to go absolutely ballistic on the final lap, as now he does turn it up, as he's lost a little bit of time here to Chiller Killer through the middle sector, through Puwon and such corners. But now one would assume that Maverick is going to use quite a lot of ERS as he comes out of the second Stabilo now, down towards Blanchimont. You'd expect him to turn up his ERS, because at the moment he isn't going to get the DRS at all. So here we go, he's turned his ERS back up, and he is indeed gaining on Chiller Killer once more, as now we're on the final lap of the Grand Prix, as Addy is on the final lap. Now through the bus stop chicane comes Maverick and Chiller Killer, as now they are about to go on the final lap of the Grand Prix, and now they are indeed. The gap is 0.8 of a second. Can the Mercedes driver do enough? Oh, as he's missed his braking marker, and that is going to spoil any opportunity that the Mercedes driver had of overtaking Chiller Killer, and he's going to be absolutely kicking himself, because I think he had a very good opportunity if he used a lot of his ERS out of turn 1. But that is going to end that battle, sadly, as Chiller Killer is going to probably secure 3rd place unless he has any penalties. Not quite sure about the penalty situation between these two drivers, but let's focus our attention now on a driver who does need more attention, because he's absolutely drove a fantastic Belgium Grand Prix. He is the driver who has ultimately not made any mistakes in this Grand Prix, perhaps for the one that he made at turn 1 on lap 1, where he tried to go down the inside of Ed. But as he seems to be taking now the final lap oh so cautiously, I think he's lost about 2 seconds on this lap. He's taking it oh so cautiously, and he can afford to do that when he had about a 10-second lead in this Grand Prix. As now he's making his way down towards Blanchimont for the final time in this Grand Prix. It is indeed going to be the Haas driver, who seems to be just absolutely taking it easy. Now through the bus stop chicane comes Addy, and now out of the bus stop chicane, and there's going to be victory for the Haas driver here in Spa. What a fantastic victory it has been indeed. He's benefited from those who have made mistakes, but he had a mistake-free race, did Addy. He made the less mistakes, and he's won the Grand Prix. A fantastic drive there by the Haas driver, and he secures a win in Spa, as Ed finishes in 2nd place. Chiller Killer finishes ahead of Maverick in 3rd, Maverick in 4th. Bolt is going to be very disappointed to finish in 5th place after so many mistakes, but it is somewhat of good news that his championship rival also did make mistakes and finished home in 2nd place. Murcielago is now coming through the bus stop chicane and is going to finish in 6th place, unless, I don't know, I think he has some penalties, but he doesn't have, I don't think he does. He might have had penalties, but also Ayrton Spencer might have had some penalties, as Ayrton Spencer gained quite a lot on Murcielago there. I think the gap was about 14 seconds after Ayrton Spencer pitted it, and it ended at 2, as the AI drivers have just crashed. So Ayrton Spencer finishes in 7th, Ragnar finishes in 8th, as he actually did set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix at 1:46.9 on the final lap of the race, and he will take home that 1 extra point for the fastest lap of the race. And now Schechter is going to come home and finish in 9th place in this race, as Dougie Afferman is now trundling across the finish line to come home in 10th place, and he will take home, of course, 1 final point. And now we have Danny Abinlahar with no front wing. He's going to come across the bus stop chicane, quite literally, as now he is going to come home and finish in 11th place. And that is the end of the Belgium Grand Prix. It was a very, very exciting race with many, many moments of of interest, really. I kind of forgot what I was going to say there, but I have to give all the credit in the world to Addy here. He drove a fantastic race, and I'm sure he's going to be absolutely delighted with that as he takes victory here in Spa. But what a fascinating race. So many drivers making mistakes that we don't really see making mistakes. We've seen mistakes from Ed, or we've seen at least 2 mistakes from Ed, and maybe even 3, and Bolt also making some mistakes as well. As yeah, well, we'll read through the final classification, then come to the chat. And there we go. Ed finishes, well, sorry, not Ed, Addy finishes in 1st place after starting 3rd on the grid here in Spa. Ed, who was in the lead for the majority of the race, well, up until about lap 10 or 11, he seemed to be completely in control after the pit stops, but he did spin and he's made some mistakes, and that has cost him ultimately what should have been his race victory. Chillikar with a fantastic race to finish it. Then we have Maverick, we have Bolt, we have Murcielago, we have Ayrton Spencer, Ragnar, Schechter, Dougie Afferman, Denny Abinlahar, Skull, Val, Hereford, and then King Nosker, who sadly didn't make it to the start line. But now we'll come to the chat just for a moment. With decision by Ragnar. Yeah, as Colin explained, he spun and hit the wall. Bolt says waste of time. I'm sure that he's going to be absolutely kicking himself with that after that performance. Ed saying that he buggered that one up. Indeed, Ed, he did. That race was there's there to be won for you, but unfortunately, Spa just got the better of you at the end of the day, and that can happen very, very easily indeed. But that will be it for round number 13 here at the Belgium Grand Prix. It's been a very intriguing and interesting race, and we will indeed see you next week at 9:30 Central European time, 8:30 PM UK time next Sunday for what will be round number 14 at Monza. And that will be a very, very, very interesting Grand Prix indeed. But thank you all for tuning in, and that was a fantastic race. And yeah, until next week, we'll see you all later. I hope you have a very good day, and goodbye.